All right. All right. Donuts. Very nice. Very nice indeed. Oh, mercy. Oh, fun. Fun, fun, fun.
What's going on, everybody?
Hey, this is Armory. What up, D-Boss? How's it going, Bo? All right. All right, all right, all right. Michael, hello. How are you doing, Michael? How are you fine, people, on this Remembrance Day? It is 9/11. It's a it's gonna be a rough couple of days here, with what we had going on yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Nate's eating donuts, by the way. Oh, we'll let some people get in here. What's up, Mason? How's it going, man? Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy. TJ, it is. It is, brother man. We'll get into it here in just a second. We'll talk about what all's been going on. Me and Nate, we talked about it yesterday. We thought about going live yesterday, but we figured we let it sit for a second. You know, sleep on it, and come back in today. We got some time, and trying to hit it with this live video.
Yeah. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about Charlie Kirk a little bit. Just talk about some stuff we don't normally talk about on the channel. We don't usually get political. But what happened yesterday is just an indication of how fucked up things have gotten and how far things have gone. And I don't know how much you watch Charlie Kirk, but I
I watched him
subscribe
a
to him
lot.
on Instagram and YouTube, and I always found that he always kept his cool, even though he was constantly being attacked for his views and his talking points. And I just I'm really I'm heartbroken. I'm heartbroken for what I saw happen yesterday.
And a good preface for this is, for the most part, before yesterday, I really didn't care what your political beliefs were. I didn't care where you came from. I don't care about those type of things because, from my personal standpoint, if you're an American, you're an American. And I would support you, and I support your right to free speech the same way I would support Charlie's right to free speech, and that's all he really did with free speech. And people didn't like what he had to say a lot of the times, but there's a lot of people that loved what he had to say. I'll be completely transparent. I love Charlie. I love what he had to say. I loved his message. He was an amazing man and spoke very eloquently. He was also a God-fearing Christian man, which I admire deeply because I am as well. And the fact that someone like that was so polarizing to somebody, to the fact where they weren't emotionally mature enough to have a conversation, which Charlie always welcomed, because that's literally what he would do. He would literally let people come down and just attack him and, come at them with all their emotion because he wanted to keep a level head, because he wanted to have a conversation with somebody. That's all the man wanted to do. And that's what irritates me the most.
Yeah, I mean, he was the epitome of freedom of speech and having a conversation, a dialogue, and he was so good at convincing people of his arguments. I think that's why he was such a big target. He was a target because he could actually make a difference with his words.
Yep.
And you know, isn't that what we see liberals do? You know, when they can't argue their point well, they call names, they incite violence, and now they murder.
Yeah.
You know, uh, I think like we saw it with President Trump, right?
Yep. Same
Um,
type of thing.
tried
They
to assassinate him
they
for
want to
what he's about.
for his rhetoric or how he talks. Guess what, boys and girls? It doesn't freaking matter how that person talks. It doesn't matter how you talk. You could be talking the most anti-American crap on here, but guess what? You can do that because this is America. You have that freedom to do that. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you don't like Trump or how he talks. It doesn't matter if you didn't like Charlie or how he talked. He was espousing this rhetoric or whatever it was. It doesn't matter. He had an opinion. That was his viewpoint on it. If you didn't like it, he wanted you to debate him. That's all it was.
And I'm just sickened by some of the left's responses. You know, yesterday I saw some videos that just blew me away. People celebrating his death, saying that he deserved it. Um, I mean, you even saw a guy on MSNBC, which they apologized for
Oh,
afterwards.
they did. Well, that one guy, remember that video clip we
Oh yeah,
saw
and how
about saying it was a supporter shooting his gun in celebration?
no, yeah, shooting a gun in support of
That guy has since been fired from MSNBC.
yeah. It's just man, how naive and how blind are the left? You know, yeah. I mean, I don't usually talk about my personal life, but I've got a cousin who's super liberal, and he texted me yesterday, and he asked me if I was actually a fan of Charlie Kirk, and I didn't even respond. I left the conversation. It was a group message, and I left the conversation. And I was just like, this doesn't even deserve talking to him about, because I'm not going to get anywhere with him. The liberals are so brainwashed and so far gone that it doesn't matter what reasoning or logic you use with them. They are just going to continue to believe their rhetoric, all the lies that they've been told.
Yeah.
You know,
They're so they're so infused with hate. You can't look
and
past the hate and have a
you
little
know,
bit
in
of
some ways
empathy.
it's hard to blame. It's hard to blame them. In other ways, it isn't,
Yeah.
because you know, we're all human beings and we all have logic. But look at the media and what the media does, and how they take every fact and every um, uh, bit of news that happens, and they twist it and spin it, um,
Immediately, without waiting for facts.
to make Trump look bad or to make any Republican look bad.
Anybody that's a conservative, and that's the thing. You know, they come at people. You know, if you're a person of color, if you're transgender, if you're whatever else that's not in the majority of people, you can say whatever you want to say. You can say whatever you want to say to anyone you want to say it. You can be mean, you can be rude, you could burn down businesses, you can go kill people, which has happened in a lot of these other shootings and stuff like that. But the minute, you know, a straight white conservative person or just any combination of those three elements gets out and says their mind, oh, that's hate speech. Oh, what Trump says is hate speech. Oh, what Charlie says is hate speech. Oh, this terrible rhetoric, this horrible rhetoric. It's a massive double standard. It's a massive double standard. And the media just helps fuel that double standard. And it's infused so many people with so much hate, they can't look past their hate. And so they have no empathy for a guy who literally, yeah, you might not have liked what he said, but the guy wasn't a murderer. He didn't like harm people. He wasn't a violent felon. He wasn't any of that. Charlie was literally a dad who had two babies and a wife now that's not going to be able to have him around because somebody was so emotionally small and such a small human being, they had to go and shoot him.
Yeah, I mean, how ridiculous is it? That's right, Caden. Like, nobody should die over their political opinion.
Oh, it doesn't. It's not that serious.
It's a political opinion. You know, and everybody's like, we live in America where we have the right to free speech, and so therefore, we should be allowed to speak freely, without without the fear of being murdered over how you think. I mean, it's just I'm infuriated. I couldn't sleep last night. I know Ryan couldn't sleep last night either. I just kept thinking about this and like how disgusted I am to say that I'm an American right now. You know, I'm an immigrant to the country. I became a naturalized citizen in 2004. I've lived in America the majority of my life. I own a gun store, and I'm so disgusted with the state of our nation right now that, you know, literally half of the population is walking around like brainwashed sheep, just bah, not even able to freely think for themselves,
No,
and allowing the liberal news media to brainwash them with untruths and made up fake facts, and going based off of feelings rather than, you know, evidence.
no.
And it's just it's become so disgusting, and I can't tell you how many um comments and videos I saw yesterday about people like us on the conservative side who are just this is the line in the sand, and it has been crossed, and there are people who are angry. um it's become, I mean, it's come to the point where like, okay, this can't continue to happen.
Well, and you know, the biggest thing that Charlie wanted, he didn't talk down to people. He tried to educate people. He had open dialogue and open discussion. And people are saying, "Oh, empathy is being thrown around too loosely." Okay, how about just being compassionate for someone that got killed? Okay, that's just basic human decency. We are humans and we are Americans. How about have a little bit of compassion, maybe, for the fact that the wife no longer has a husband and their little babies no longer have a dad to
Oh, I
grow up
mean,
with.
I'm so disgusted. There were people celebrating that yesterday.
Oh yeah, that's
There were
that's that's
people
ridiculous.
celebrating that
If you were
yesterday.
that bent out of shape, if you were that twisted, that's evil, okay? And the thing is, yes, he did have compassion and he did have empathy for people because why in the world would he go out and subject himself to being like belittled and talked down to and screamed at? That's what happens when you talk to people on the far left, these extreme left people that are super woke. They don't want to have a dialogue with Charlie. They wanted to scream at him because they wanted him to believe what they thought. And Charlie was a man of his own principle. I can respect that. If you're going to scream and be, that kind of a way and be a woke leftist where you don't want to have an open dialogue, I feel like you're wrong. That's just straight up. You are wrong. Okay. You should be able to have an open dialogue with people. You should be able to talk with one another. The minute you close down and you don't talk, that's when violence starts because then no one can understand the other side. That's all Charlie did. Okay. That's all he did. He wanted you to have an open discussion with him. And he got him killed because people on the far left that are, like Nate said, listening to media and taking it at face value and staying in an echo chamber, that's all they hear. That's all they hear.
The comments are flooding in, and I'm just reading some of these comments, and there's obviously a bunch of fucking cuck liberals in here who
If you guys didn't really tell where our political leanings were at this point in time, this live will
yeah,
definitely
like,
cement
and
that.
honestly, I don't really care about offending anyone at this point. That's you know, we're beyond that now. um Nobody cares about your feelings, and nobody cares about what you think. You have crossed the line, and you continue to support that kind of behavior. I mean, I just can't be down with it. I'm
Oh, and then
sorry.
on top of that, we have a school shooting yesterday, and all these shootings that you've seen at churches, it's targeted towards Christians and people that are literally just trying to live their life, and they're trying to be nice and placate these far left extremists with your ridiculous ideology. And you're supposed to live and let people live, but every one of these shootings that's happened here in the past, like, year basically, it's been transgender ideology. Okay, it's dangerous, okay? Because these people are not well. They're not well in their mental state. They're being fed this information from these sources, and they're letting them. They're getting all bent out of shape with emotion, and no one's checking them. They're not getting help. They're just getting an echo chamber, and then it's cementing all this hatred, and then they go and act on it. So we have a mental health problem in this country with people that are not being helped because people are fear or spewing hate, and these people are just soaking it in, and
Yeah,
they can't get
and
past
I've
it.
just seen a couple of comments come in about how Charlie was hateful and how he hated black people and Mexicans apparently. That's completely untrue.
If you guys have watched
That's
any of his
completely
videos,
yeah. I
any
mean,
of his turning point stuff, he's
and whoever
not.
is saying that is already so far gone in their belief system that no amount of civil dialogue or conversation is going to change their mind. And we realize that now, and that's okay. That's okay. But I mean, it's gonna hit a breaking point. It's gonna hit a breaking point, and I'm kind of afraid for the country, because I feel like last night I saw a dude walking through a crowd saying "fuck Charlie Kirk," and he got his ass beat.
Oh yeah, at a vigil. Yeah.
At a
They
vigil.
were literally having a vigil for the man, which is totally respectable. And again, people can't get past their blind hate. They're going to go to a funeral or they're going to go to a vigil for this man who just got killed. And then all of a sudden you're going to run through saying F Charlie Kirk.
And that just shows me that there's no decency on
No,
that
there's no
side.
decency, guys. We're a civilized society. We're supposed to be Americans. We're supposed to be leading the world. We're not really leading the world when shit happens like this. Okay? When you have people that can't have a civil discourse and you want to go through a vigil for this man, or like Nate said, I saw the videos too. I was seeing, it's in my TikTok feed is inundated with all this, with people like saying terrible things to his wife and his kids, like saying that they're glad that their kids are going to grow up without Charlie here. That's awful.
Yeah, I mean,
And this is the thing. This is the thing. I wouldn't have cared if it was a right-leaning political activist or a left-leaning political activist, because guess what? You're entitled to your opinion. I mean, I'll say this: I didn't like Joe Biden at all.
But
I didn't think he was a great president at all. I think he was a horrible president. Do I wish him dead?
no,
No.
and that's the difference.
That's the
between us.
difference.
That's
He's
the
still an American. He was still the president, albeit we didn't like him.
We still had to respect that he was the president.
I would not want someone to go out and take out our president. I wouldn't want anybody to have to deal with that.
Yeah. Andrea, thank you. You're right. Charlie Kirk never spread hate or racism. He spoke facts. May the Lord bless him and his family. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Prayers to his family and everyone who was close to him. I mean, I can't imagine, what that must be like to be a part of his family and now have him gone because of the things that he says. Excuse me. I just think that is the lowest of the low that you can go. You can say whatever you want to say, but when you actually take action to cause physical harm to someone over their belief system, I mean, you want to talk about Nazi? You want to talk about Nazi? That's what the Nazis did.
Like took out their political opponents with force.
They took out people that they did not agree with. They took out people who they thought were inferior to them. They took out a whole race of people, I mean, millions and millions and millions of them murdered because of a belief system they had. And you don't see any conservatives going out there and using their guns to mass murder, to murder political opponents. You're just not seeing that from the conservative side, but we're seeing it on the liberal side.
Oh, you want me to toss a little firecracker in this?
Yeah.
You know what happened when George Floyd died? All those media posts, all those cities that got burned down, all those businesses that got torn down because of George Floyd. Did anyone go out and riot last night?
Nope.
No, we had vigils for someone that we cared about and that was just speaking his mind, who was an actual decent member of human society. and who literally just wanted to debate people and talk with people. And I didn't agree with everything Charlie said too. I agree with a lot of it, but at the same time, guess what? I'm an educated person to an extent, I would think, to be like, I don't have to agree with somebody 100% of the time on every single thing they believe in. Because guess what? I'm my own person and I can make my own decisions. I have my own beliefs. But you don't see conservatives going out and rioting and killing people and taking revenge towards people. It's the left
Yeah.
that every single time, and you look at empirical evidence. What has happened with all these past shootings? Who's it been? Radicalized, left leaning ideology people. That's what's been happening.
It's disgusting. And you don't see Christians going out and murdering atheists because they don't believe in Jesus.
But churches, Christian churches still get shot up. We had kids that were in prayer at that one church, like what, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, whatever it was, that were literally praying and got shot up because they're Christians. It's horrible.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's such a sickening thing. It's so sad that we're even having this conversation right now. You know, when it first happened, obviously we all got the news and we were all praying and hoping for a recovery or for him to make it. And we even got reports that he was stable with a pulse at the hospital. And then 30 minutes later, we discovered that he had passed. And I was driving down the road, and Ryan texted me to tell me that he had passed. And when I got that message, my heart just sank. I mean, I moved over into the right lane, and I was in autopilot for my 35-minute drive, just thinking like, God, what is happening? Why do people want to kill each other over our beliefs? It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. And I'm just sad. I'm disappointed. I'm sad. I'm angry too. But I'm not gonna go pick up a gun
and
go shoot up somebody that doesn't believe in what I believe.
Right.
I'm not gonna go shoot somebody over Charlie getting shot. And that, I think that
And now
is
listen,
the big difference between us.
It is. And the thing is, too, this does go both ways. So we still have to stay kind of grounded, right? Not everybody on the right is radical. Not everybody on the left is radical. A lot of these are the fringe group is speaking louder than the majority. I know a lot of like left-leaning people, a lot of liberal people in my life that I'm actually friends with and I can actually talk with. But the group that's speaking louder than the majority of them is that far left-leaning extremist woke liberal group that takes everything and ramps it up and turns it to violence. And it's been on one side this entire time. That's what we keep seeing. The lady that just got stabbed on the bus, it was literally racially motivated. The guy said, "I got that white bitch." Okay? I'm not trying to say that, he was a certain kind of way or he was a left-leaning
And look
liberal,
at the lack
whatever it
of
is.
coverage on that.
The lack of coverage because it was a white lady. It's really, really getting to me because silence makes you complicit. Okay? When you have all these media outlets that cover all these stories in a negative light towards conservatives or Trump or Charlie or anything like that. But then you have Charlie that gets shot. President Trump almost gets killed. You have Steve Scalise that almost gets killed, one of our representatives. You have this girl that gets stabbed on a bus and dies. And there's only negative coverage or there's no coverage. There's a clear difference in what we see and what needs to be seen. And I hate it because it makes my blood boil because I'm like, we're supposed to all be on the same team. We're all supposed to be Americans. We're all supposed to be like feeling safe in our country. And I don't feel like we're safe anymore because you can't say what you want to say, even though it's one of your God-given rights that you as an American get. It's almost like you can't say what you want to say anymore, especially if you're a conservative.
I got to interject. I've seen Andrew here post a couple of comments, and Andrew, you're so wrong, dude. We don't live in an echo chamber of hate. I think you do. You live in an echo chamber of hate. We're accepting of your views. You can have your views, and we're okay with that. But you're willing to incite violence over your views. See, that's how important your views are to you. And we believe in the respect of you being able to have your own opinion. So you're wrong, buddy. You're wrong, and you might want to do some soul searching. Go look in the fucking mirror and ask yourself, you know, is all the crap that you're listening to, that you're believing, actually true? Like, do your own research. Do your own investigative work. You know, instead of just believing everything you see and read. You're lost. You're lost along with a lot of other people, and you wish you were my God, but you're not even close. You're not even close. And now I'm going to ban you. Oh, man. So sad. So sad. Um, yeah. And, that's another great point. Um, not all Democrats are bad people. Not
No,
all,
they're
not
not.
all not all liberals are bad people. But I'm not seeing a whole lot of liberals standing up against what happened like they should be.
And I feel like what it is fear.
Well, yeah, because
They're afraid to say something because they're gonna get shouted right back down.
See, they're what I feel like has happened is you either have to be on one bandwagon or the other in this country, right? You either have to be on this team or this team. But the reality is we're all on the same team.
We're all supposed to be Americans, guys.
And
that's the main team.
We have to coexist, despite our differences in opinions. And it's just so I don't even know how to explain it. I don't have the words to describe how I feel about how ridiculous this is, for somebody to lose their life over speaking in a logical, persuasive manner without using cuss words. Like, he didn't use cuss words when he made his arguments. But you saw all the people who would respond to him.
Oh, they would yell at him. They would spit at him. They'd curse at him. They'd say, "Fuck you, Charlie Kirk." I mean, you see all this hate, but Charlie, he took it like a damn man, and he just talked with them.
Oh, and even if you disagreed with him and you're glad that he's gone, what you've done is you've created a martyr out of him. You've created a martyr out of him because he represents the epitome of what we all believe in. And,
free speech.
Free speech, and that should be allowed for even the most ridiculous, far-leaning leftist. You can say whatever you want to say without fear of dying.
But you know what the difference is? You have the right to say whatever the hell you want to say. That is your God-given First Amendment right. It is not a right for you to try and force me to accept what you're saying. I don't have to agree with what you're saying. I don't have to follow lockstep with what you're saying. I'm my own person. I have my own rights the same way you have your own rights. That's the difference. I can talk to you about what I believe in, and if you want to believe like me, great. If you don't believe like me, great. Go live your life. Do what you want to do. That's why the American people are some of the greatest people in the world, because the people that can talk with one another, and I might disagree with you, cool, have a good day, dude. That's fine. But when you get to the point where you can't have that, and you're trying to force people to believe like you, to think like you, to talk like you, that's force, that's coercion. And then when you spew it as hate speech, if someone doesn't agree with you, it leads to something like what happened yesterday.
And that's the other thing. He was okay if you disagreed with him.
He was totally fine with it. That's the whole point of him going to campuses.
Yeah, he was okay with that. He was just ready to have dialogue and explain his point of view and why he thinks the way he thinks.
Yeah.
And he came from a Christian perspective, a logical perspective, and a nationalist perspective.
Right.
Right. So he loves America. He loves what America's all about. The diversity, the freedom, all of that combined. So for you to hate a person like that, you have got to have a real darkness inside yourself. you've got to hate yourself too. You must Andrew just a few minutes ago, who I banned. Like, dude, you probably hate yourself. Just the way that you were speaking here in the channel, with your chats, it sounds like you hate yourself. And man, I almost feel sorry for you, almost. But I know that I know better, because we are all humans who can make decisions for ourselves, and we can all look at facts and the reality instead of basing it off feelings. And you just haven't looked in yourself in the mirror, you know.
And when you try and base all of your decisions off of raw emotion, typically it leads to the wrong type of consequence. Because when you're going out there and you're getting all this hate filled in you, and you're using that as fuel for your emotion and decision making, guess what's going to happen? Not something good. Charlie wanted to try and reason with you on a logical perspective, like Nate said, logic, a nationalist perspective, and a religious perspective. Because you might not be religious. Well, guess what? He can appeal to you on a nationalist perspective and a logical perspective, because you can't beat out logic, guys. Logic is there for a reason. Facts are there for a reason. A fact is a fact. And you know, you get a lot of people on the left trying to say, "Oh, this is not this and this is not this," and they're trying to change up what a fact is. No, facts are facts. He was literally just trying to tell you facts and what he believed and how we should operate. That's all he was trying to do. Okay, that's the difference. That's the big difference.
Wait for You just actually made a comment that I've been wondering myself as well. He says, or she, can we talk about how someone was able to infiltrate and exfiltrate, fire a shot with a rifle without being noticed by anyone? You know, that is actually a great question. There were people who did spot somebody on the roof. There's video footage of it. Um, it's pretty, it- it's pretty crazy. How you know, someone was able to pull that off, especially after what happened with Trump. You know, somebody was on the roof. It's like, are we not checking roofs now, guys? Are we not securing buildings and access to the roof? Now, for having that many thousands of people in attendance, they had some plainclothes officers within the crowd, but they only had 6 campus police officers watching the
Yep.
whole thing.
Well, and they had Charlie's security team too.
And Charlie's security team, but they were all standing by him.
Right.
You know, it's kind of crazy. It's
You know, I did see a report though. They did find the weapon. It was a Mauser chambered in 30-06. So I was correct in my assessment yesterday. Me and Nate were talking about this. Whenever, because I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys have seen the raw unedited footage. I could hear the shot. I'm like, that's a rifle. I know it's a high-powered rifle. It was a 30-06 that hit him, and they found it. And guess what? On the bullets, it was a Mauser, so it's a top-fed magazine with the bullets. On those bullets were transgender and anti-fascist engravings. So that's what has been reported. Again, it could change, but if that's true, it fits the bill. You know, there's nothing more I can say about that. It does fit the bill, which is kind of sad because it just follows the empirical evidence of how it's led up to today with all these other events that have transpired, where there's that fringe group that's speaking louder than the rest, and they're the ones causing the problems. They're the ones resorting to violence because they couldn't debate Charlie because they knew what he was saying was right. So what happens when you can't debate somebody and you're so mad that you can't debate him because he's speaking facts? What happens? They resort to violence. That's a weak person. This person's weak and ineffective because all he did was just make it to where now everyone else is going to speak louder because they're going to speak for Charlie.
Yeah. So a couple of things. Zach, stay strapped or get clapped.
Hey, Zach, what's up, man? Thank you for the donation, guys.
Appreciate that. You know, a good question here from Vintage Magic Collector: is 200 yards a difficult shot?
No, it's not. I can do that, and I'm not a good shot.
Listen, I think anybody with a small amount of training with a scope and a rifle can make a 200-yard shot pretty easily. I don't know if that Mauser had a optic on it.
They didn't say. Guys, again, with that, I saw that on X. I don't know where the source came from on it. So again, take that with a grain of salt. I don't know if it had an optic. I don't know if they're going with iron sights. I would think it'd have to be because the 200-yard shot with irons,
it's still very doable.
Oh, it's very doable.
But with an optic, it's easy. It's an easy shot.
Yeah.
For anybody that's shot at all.
Yeah, I don't think that's a difficult, especially from an elevated position like that, laying prone. You could probably make that shot several times over, even as an amateur with the very basic minimal training. You know, a little bit of practice in the backyard or out in the woods. You could easily make that shot with a well-sighted in rifle. So I don't think it's a difficult shot, honestly. Let's see some of these other comments here.
I'm going back through. I'm trying to see here.
Is it possible the gunman was trained? I mean, we don't know. We don't know yet.
That's the biggest thing. You don't want to speculate because you know what happened yesterday when we were watching a lot of it play out. There was that one dude, that old white guy that was like being taken away in handcuffs. People right off the rip thought that he was the shooter. You gotta wait. You gotta let things play out. You gotta try and get all the facts as they appear because that guy was literally just there. He was an opposer of Charlie Kirk, but he was just screaming and yelling. It wasn't the guy. So you gotta let things play out, and you get more information. So don't take it and run with it like the media would do, because that's exactly what the fuck they would do. They would take it and run with it, and you would never get the original story back.
Let's see. Papa's Pew Pews. Super chat. Your questions are easier to see. That's right. Let's see here. Dana says, anybody notice how quickly Trump announced Kirk's death? Like, please stop talking about Epstein quick. No, I don't think so. I think that it was important to address it. And I think that he did what he was supposed to do, and it was well done. Yeah, murder doesn't solve anything, Sean. It does not. And what it does is it creates more divisiveness. It creates more animosity, and it incites more violence. That's all it does. And I mean, it's pretty clear from after last night at the vigil. When people went off on that one guy and whooped his ass for saying "fuck Charlie Kirk," that's just inciting more violence. The death of one guy, they're having a vigil for him, and you got another guy coming in spewing more hate, and then it incited violence, and it just keeps going. It'll never stop. Yeah. Personally, I've seen Parsa asks, "What's your speculation on the shot trajectory? Was it hit on a plate and then went into Charlie's neck, or was it a direct shot to the left artery vein?" I think the person was probably shooting for his head and missed and hit his neck.
I know he was. I know Charlie was wearing a plate underneath his shirt.
And
that's why you saw that his shirt rise. He was wearing a plate.
Well, and you saw, and a lot of people thought that there was a shot that hit him in the right chest and that deflected up into his neck. I don't think that's the case.
I don't think it was either.
I think that was his microphone. He had an extra microphone on his shirt for his social media stuff.
Yep.
So I think it was an attempted headshot that hit his throat. Personally, that's just what I think. I mean, I don't know all the facts, so
no, I know that whenever we did see it, it was very. If you don't watch that video and you see Charlie take the hit, and you don't feel that in your gut, like with that happening, I mean, I feel like I'm a little desensitized and I can be a little jaded sometimes, but at the same time, I saw that happen. And I mean, my God, like it hurt me right off the rip. And I saw all that blood loss, and I was talking to Nate about it. I'm like, unless they got on him immediately and they got their finger right in his neck and got on that artery, he lost so much blood right off the rip. And I was praying that he'd be able to pull
some way out of that. But I just the where the shot hit him, there was no way that I think Charlie would have been able to make that.
Jay says you would think people would have learned by now with all the BS going on. Any high-profile open-air events need to be secured. The high vantage points, cover your intersecting sectors of fire, stay vigilant. I mean,
Jay, that's exactly what I thought.
That's exactly, that was when we realized there was somebody on the roof. You know, that's the first thing I said was like,
why is there no one at these sniper points?
Checking the roofs? You know, like we had our president almost assassinated over
because of a roof shot,
because of a roof issue. You know, the roof not being secured, and you know, and we've seen that in the past in the history. That guy in the bell tower at Texas A&M, right? And
the guy in the hotel balcony in Vegas. Remember that?
Yep, 100%. These elevated positions, where it's so much easier to fire from an elevated position down. It's so surprising that those areas weren't secured, and what a shame, because you know we lost an awesome human being yesterday. It's just so crazy.
And you know, my thing is, if you were one of those people that are sitting there and you're like, oh, Charlie was spewing hate and Charlie didn't believe in empathy and all this crap, well, guess what? If you think that so strongly, you know what you could do? Go talk to him about it. Go talk to the man. He would have let you come down and argue with him all day and try and debate your point. That was the whole point of his message. He wasn't trying to be violent with you. If you were very, very aggravated at his viewpoints or his opinions, he wanted you to talk to him.
Yeah.
That was the whole damn point of his entire spiel. And yeah, Charlie would go out and he'd go to these places where he knew that he would get interaction from people, but he was doing it so he could talk with people, to debate with them. That's the whole reason why. Charlie was a smart guy. He was a smart businessman. He was a really smart guy. That's why he went to these places. But if you disagreed, you could talk with them. That's the difference. You don't get to do that with a lot of these politicians. Did you get to do that with Joe Biden? No, because he was asleep half the time in his basement. Did you get to do that with Barack Obama? No, not a whole lot, especially with all these like congressmen on both sides of the aisle, Republicans and Democrats. You don't get to just talk with these guys. Charlie was that voice. He was very well spoken. You could talk to him. And this person didn't like that.
Yeah, I really hope that the person who is responsible is the actual person who is in custody right now.
I don't know. I know they arrested 2 different people and they let 2 people go last night, from what I was reading last night.
Yeah. Well, during the press conference, they said that they had picked someone up who they were questioning.
I think that's the second guy that got released.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the governor, Spencer Cox, I think, from Utah. Utah has the death penalty, and I am completely for it.
Oh yeah,
I am completely for it. I have been a proponent of firing squads for a while now.
If you're willing to take somebody's life over their political views and them speaking out freely, you don't deserve to breathe the fresh air or the free air here in America.
You took away that person's freedom, that person's rights.
Yeah.
So yours should be taken away too.
100%.
I know that's like Hammurabi's code, eye for an eye, but at that point, I don't care. You hurt an American, so yeah. I'm very staunch about that.
Fact Seeker says they had no point to. They wanted what they had to stick, even if AG install logic.
Fact Seeker,
retype that.
Yeah, retype that when you're not having a stroke.
Yeah. That's what America did to MLK and Malcolm X. I mean, yeah, and it was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was wrong.
That's the thing. You're trying to silence those people. You have a voice, and your voice deserves to be heard. It doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on, as long as you're not trying to like be violent. You're not becoming violent with people. If you're just speaking your opinion in your mind, it doesn't matter what side you're on. Does not matter. You have a right to say what you want to say.
Yeah, it's so sad. And I mean, I'm still disgusted by like people like Shib 2.0 here, who says dude was trash. I mean, okay, that's
That's your opinion, right?
That's your opinion.
Charlie would have welcomed you to go over and talk to him and tell him he was trash.
Yeah, and then
That's the whole point,
and then I
guys.
bet he would have torn you apart with logic and reasoning.
Oh, you know what? I've been seeing this a little bit too. It's not gun violence. It's just violence. The gun is the object used. It's just violence. It doesn't matter if it was a gun, a knife, a pencil, a chair. You can kill people with a damn near a lot of things, okay? Violence is violence, and political violence has no place in American culture, okay? That's third world country bullshit. This is America. We're not the rest of the world. We're supposed to be a leader. Guns don't kill people, okay? People kill people. People are the ones, especially you think back during
Dude,
Roman times, you know, people were like, "Oh, the gladius is what killed Caesar." No, Brutus killed Caesar. All his fucking buddies.
I was scrolling through Instagram last night and just you know, trying to find some funny videos to get my mind off of this, and
It's hard to find it right now.
it was so hard. And then I came across a post by Tyrese, and he basically said that Charlie Kirk was a racist and you get what you deserve. And I just couldn't believe that. I couldn't believe that that's his actual position, and I unfollowed him last night. And and he also called for stricter gun control in his post, and I thought, wow,
I gotta say something.
wow, stricter gun control. So we're going to continue to blame the gun for somebody's actions.
We're gonna blame the object.
We're not going to blame the person who did this. We're going to blame the gun. The gun is the reason this happened. I mean, how ridiculous of an argument is
Nate,
that?
I thought college campuses were gun-free zones.
Yeah, they are.
So how did this happen then?
Well, isn't it funny how criminals don't obey the law?
It's so weird. It's almost like they don't care.
Yeah.
They don't give a damn about the laws. Criminals are criminals for a reason. Criminal means you break the law. Okay? They don't care.
Cyan Elite, great comment and absolutely true. The UK doesn't have guns, but they have the most stabbings in the world.
They got stabbings.
Guns are not the problem. And you smell a civil war coming.
It's a cultural civil war.
I mean,
I guarantee it right now. That's how it started.
It's not outside of possibility. There are so many people who are angry right now, who are upset about this, who are tired of violence from that side, because they can't articulate well. They can't articulate what they want to say, and they can't coerce other people to believe what they believe. And so what's their last resort? It's violence. Name calling, violence. I mean,
and I see, and, you know, and I hate to bring it into a religious perspective again, but there was a guy I saw on X last night. Literally went to I think it was a gay pride event or like a trans pride event or something like that. And the guy wasn't being mean or hateful. He literally went out there and he was just preaching the gospel. He was preaching to people that would hear him, because that's what Christianity calls us to do. It's just to be, you know, a minister to people. Minister to people. Doesn't matter where they come from. Doesn't matter their walk of life. You're trying to just minister to somebody. Guess what? If you don't want to hear that guy, you don't have to hear it. Go off and do whatever you want to do. But you know what I saw? I see a lot of these radical left liberal people at some of these events. They were running up to him saying "F you," spitting in his face, trying to break his camera, kicking him, pushing him around, pushing his cameraman. So you don't want to talk to him. You don't want to hear what he has to say, because he's preaching to you, and you don't want that to be, you don't want someone preaching to you. So your kind of, I guess, course of action is to act like a 3-year-old. You act like an immature brat that never got, you know, any discipline in his life. And I feel like that's probably a big issue with a lot of these people too. They get whatever they want. When they don't get what they want, they cry. When they don't get what they really want, they pitch a fit, they throw a tantrum, they get pissy, they get mad, and these people grow up and they get whatever they want, and they hear this hate in this echo chamber, and it makes them feel good about themselves. And it's just a giant roadmap that leads to someone doing something they shouldn't do.
Yeah. Sean, you're right. I mean, you don't have to support Charlie Kirk to denounce murder and denounce what happened.
Sean, you're absolutely right.
You know, you don't have to be a supporter of his to agree that this type of violence is unacceptable. and it should not be happening in today's world. But unfortunately, that's the world we live in, where if you don't get your way, then you resort to um, something ridiculous like murder over a difference of opinion. Um, Psalm 37:13 says, Proverbs 7:5, King James Holy Bible, whoso mocketh the poor reproacheth his maker, and he that is glad at calamities shall not be punished. Yeah, love that. Yeah, MJ, you are delusional, bro. You are delusional. You're just talking hate yourself. Go look in the mirror, dude.
You know, and then they say that, oh, what about all this on the right, with these political commentators spewing hate speech and stuff? I don't really see a whole lot of that. I see a lot of them making fun of leftists and liberals, talking about how ridiculous they are. You know what I see more so of on the left? I see Chuck Schumer calling out for violence, Maxine Waters calling out for violence, Jasmine Crockett calling out for violence. People wanted to go out and stop people, and you harass them and you cause a commotion, you start a crowd, and you go to these people and you invade on their lives, you become violent. I see that a lot on the left, a lot from these lawmakers, and that's the problem that we have. We have these people in positions of power that are being amplified on social media, or not social media, really, more so mainstream media, and that's what fuels this fire. Stop being hateful. Have a conversation and talk with people. That's the biggest thing. That's what Charlie would have wanted.
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if we see an increase in gun sales over this kind of thing. Um, Gun sales have been at a record low this year, especially the last few months. The month of July, the NICS system, the FBI NICS system, the background check system that's used by all gun stores, saw less than 1 million inquiries nationwide, a 22-year record low. And I think that's probably this incident is probably going to change that, because
Yeah.
people are going to probably realize that they need to be able to protect themselves from what's probably to come. Even if it doesn't come, they're going to be prepared for it. In case.
Well, I've been seeing a lot of our fellow content creators on, YouTube, and a lot of the people that we talk with in our community, especially with the lady that Miss Arena that got stabbed on that bus. You need to be able to protect yourself. Always be hyper vigilant, be focused, be situationally aware. That's a lot to do with today's society. You need to know what's happening in your surroundings, whether you're going to the park, going to a baseball game, going to the restaurant, going to dinner, going to the movies. You need to be aware. You need to try and be self-consciously aware and have situational awareness. And a lot of our content creator friends, are gun advocates and are gun trainers, like Miss Heather Hartman. I just saw that she's doing one. Alicia Garcia, Boomstick Babe, she's doing a lot of like women's concealment classes and stuff like that. Foxtrotter 6 just made a post about it, about being prepared and being able to, be able to defend and take care of yourself and know where you need to be, what you need to do in certain situations. That's the way we need to start thinking, guys, because I don't see it getting better to a certain point. I see that it's created like Nate started talking about at the very beginning, a line in the sand. And you got to watch out for yourself. No one was going to protect you but you. No one's going to look out for you but you. So make sure you're taking care of yourself.
Yeah, I would watch out for people like MJ here in the chat. You're willing to say such hateful things and then say that we're the hateful ones.
Hey, listen, I don't give a shit about what happens anywhere else in the world. You know what I care about? America first. That's who gets my attention. Americans get my attention first. America gets my attention first. I am first and foremost an American. I get that terrible things happen across the world. They happen across the world for years and years and years, and they've happened all throughout history. Guess what? If you don't focus on yourself first and make sure you are good first, you can't help anybody else. Okay, so yes, there may be shit going on in Syria and Palestine and Iran and Iraq and Afghanistan and India and Pakistan and Egypt and Syria and the Sudan and South Africa. There's probably tons of stuff happening over there. Okay, if we can help, let's try and help. But guess what? I care about Americans first, and that's what Charlie was preaching. He wanted you to take care of yourself and be an American first, and then help other people. But we have a mental health crisis that he was trying to talk with people about and debate with people about. That's the main point. I don't care about what happens everywhere else. Okay, America first.
MJ, you sound like one of the people I was referring to earlier when I was talking about how you are so far gone in believing all the fake news and the media's lies and twists that you have become a sheep. You are not unable to think for yourself. You're unable to actually reason and think with logic. You're so convinced that you're willing to call somebody you don't even know a bigot. You don't even know me. I'm from an interracial family, and you're calling me a bigot. I mean, bro, you don't even know what you're talking about. See, it's easy to be a tough guy and a keyboard warrior and get on the internet and point fingers at people and say things like the things that you're saying.
Or like how these other people have been saying
Uh,
shit.
but the reality is, you are a sheep.
And you're part of the problem.
Bah.
You're part of the problem, bro.
You're a sheep.
Hey,
You're
it's
a
God
sheep.
first, then America. Okay, that's my hierarchy. God, family, America. Let's go. That's what you need to be. That's what you need to be if you're going to be a true red-blooded American. We can help the rest of the world after we help ourselves. We have a mental health crisis. Let's help ourselves. Okay. And if you want to sit there and keep saying that, oh, people on the right are bigots, or if you supported Charlie Kirk, you're a bigot, or you're a racist, or you're a fascist, you are literally a part of the problem. You are literally pushing forward that rhetoric that y'all keep wanting to say. And the rhetoric that's being pushed, that's what led to Charlie being shot. You need to slow it down and stop, because the discourse that we're trying to have cannot happen if we're not being civil with one another and being respectful of the other person.
Yeah.
I'll be right back.
We got so many comments coming in. It's crazy. I can't read them all. We really appreciate you guys joining us for this live. We're going to stay on here for a little while. No, we're not agreeing on anything, MJ. Honestly, there was no. He did not speak hate speech. Um, you have convinced yourself of that. I don't think you've actually listened to him and seen his perspective and where he's coming from. I think you're on a bandwagon, and that's unfortunate. You can't think for yourself. Wow. News source, you say Charlie Kirk said black people were better off slaves. That's so untrue. Yikes. Yikes. So many sheep in this chat. I'll tell you what, news source, you send me an email at info@thekingofcamo.com with your source that shows me that he said that black people were better off as slaves. Send me that. Send me that. Okay? Send me your source. And send it to me from a reputable source. I want to actually see Charlie Kirk saying that, because I know he didn't. And you're right. I'm not going to take the time to look it up because you just made it up. Ryan says, I wish we had the First Amendment like yours here in the UK. We can get locked up for just saying the wrong thing.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, that's
Freedom
crazy.
of speech is ingrained in our entire American way of life. Okay, and guess what? Next year we're celebrating 250 years of breaking away from the UK. Not really. We don't like that you guys call biscuits scones. That's weird. But at the same time, yeah, freedom of speech is a fundamental right. That's why it's literally the first one. Okay. And for everyone in here that, and you know what I feel like? I feel like a lot of Americans are disassociating themselves and they don't understand that they live in like a box because they probably never went outside the US.
Yeah.
And they don't understand in these other countries, you don't get the same freedoms that you get here. It's like the guy, like the guy was saying, like Ryan was saying about the UK, but the same thing. Like if you go, a lot of these LGBTQ plus X hashtag Y / people, you go to like a place like Syria or Iran or Iraq,
they'll fucking burn you to death.
you're gonna get burned to death or beheaded and hanged.
Throw you off a fucking bridge.
That's how it works outside the United States. So how about let's be a little bit grateful that we have freedom of speech, so you can speak all of this ridiculousness, and you should be able to speak it without fear of being killed. And that's kind of why we had this whole conversation started.
Towns Manu makes a good point. People that comment on Charlie Kirk and say that he's bad and so on probably only ever watched edited clips and not what he actually said. Yeah,
that's true.
Isn't that exactly what liberal media does?
They take a clip.
They take everything out of context
and they
don't give you the whole story, and they give you a little clip to incite that anger. And we saw that during the election. The liberal media,
the good people on both sides
was purposefully creating these posts with bots to incite anger and hatred towards Donald Trump.
And you know what you need to do as an actual mature adult? Go and look up the information for yourself. Okay? Stop being so freaking lazy. Go look it up for yourself. If you hate Charlie Kirk so much, you probably, like Nate said, only saw clippets that were edited. How about you go watch his full thing? Listen to him. Listen to the context. Okay? Take time out of your, masturbation, marathon you got going on in your mom's basement and actually go and listen and do research. Okay? And that goes for everything. It's not just stuff with Charlie. That goes for any type of hot button topic issue. Go do research. Don't just do surface level bull crap. That's lazy. Okay?
Yeah, news source. I didn't think you were actually going to send me the link where Charlie Kirk says that black people were better off as slaves because it doesn't exist. And you want to make you want to make an argument, say that you're not going to do the research for me.
You know what he's talking about? He's talking about that it's him versus 20 people where he sits down and like he says something. You're taking it out of context. Exactly again. He was saying statistically, not emotionally or in terms of like how they felt towards the situation, statistically that the black community was better off in the 50s and the 40s and the 30s and even back towards slavery because of their socioeconomic status, where they were at, not in terms of like culturally it was bad because of racial segregation and all that kind of stuff. He wasn't talking about that. He knows that was bad. He's talking about socioeconomic. That's what he was talking about. So you're taking it out of context. That's what I'm saying. Go and watch the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, just stupid.
And again, if you guys take off the emotion for a little bit and just listen to logic for a second and go and listen to the context, then you'll start to understand a little bit. Maybe you'll understand what he's saying. And guess what? You might still disagree. That's okay.
Nerd of the herd. Nerds of the herd says sheep is when you blatantly ignore terrible things that Charlie Kirk said. Fucking tool. That's a great argument.
And it's also sheep when you blatantly ignore all the very positive and good things that the man said. Goes both ways there, nerds of the herd.
Yeah.
Literally both ways.
We're the one that's uneducated, and you're using words like fucking tool instead of actually presenting a logical argument for the discourse. I mean, that's just my point that I made earlier. When you can't prove your point, you start cursing, name calling, and then after that, if that doesn't work, then you bring the violence. But you know what? We don't care. We don't care.
Because guess what? It's free speech. We can say whatever the fuck we want to say. Oh, I said a bad word. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So MJ says he's going to email us right now because we say he's delusional.
You delulu.
You do that, MJ. You do that.
You know, take time out of your day to email someone on YouTube instead of like actually going and doing research. That's cool.
Yeah. Oh wow, so many hateful.
Oh, you know what? You know what the thing is, I this is another hot take for me. I don't think there's no such thing as hate speech. Okay, there's hateful things that people say, and there's stuff that is terrible and wrong, and people probably shouldn't say them. But guess what? It's speech, and you have the freedom to say it. Okay, but now again, I don't have to agree with it, and I could call you a terrible person for some of those things that you say, but it's not hate speech. And we shouldn't be restricting speech.
Troll says, how about we focus on 9/11 and remember everyone who lost their lives? Charlie Kirk's day was yesterday.
Yeah, sure. Tell it to his family, you know, that have to go bury him today.
You're named appropriately, Troll. Yeah. The yodeling Yoda. Yeah, I mean, you know, we are going to keep fighting this evil because truthfully, you know, this crazy left-leaning liberal rhetoric is evil. MJ, you know, news source, you guys, the way you talk, it's kind of evil. You're on the dark side. What?
We got funny people that like to call us and you know, say, "Hey, is Phil there?" I'm like, no," and he was like, "Phil, my crack in," and then hung up.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the people that, you know. What do you usually say? They do what with their mom?
Oh yeah, they eat their mom forced them to eat their pussies. And
Oh
so
yeah, that's.
now
I'm sorry,
they're
buddy.
angry.
I'm sorry that happened to you.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
Oh man.
Yeah, MJ, I just don't agree with what you just said. Nobody deserves to die. Nobody. But if you spread hateful rhetoric, don't be surprised when death knocks on your door. You just contradicted yourself.
You literally
in the same sentence, bro.
Bro.
That just shows where you're at here.
You rhetoric is rhetoric. It doesn't matter if it's hateful or not. Okay, you should be able to say what you want to say, and don't be surprised when death knocks on your door.
You literally contradicted yourself in the same sentence. I can't even with you, bro. Yikes, man. Yeah, Tony, MJ is lacking in brain cells. I think he's been doing too many whippets.
Vintage, we talked about it earlier. It is very possible. It's very doable to make a shot from 200 yards out with iron sights. Again, we don't know all the information as opposed to the weapon itself. We just know, I know that I heard from the ATF that it was a Mauser and it was a 30-06 and it was a bolt action. That's all I know.
Hey, Troll, you're going to exit the chat. And there you go. Fucking loser. Wow.
So the ATF report that came in through with Crowder. He got it straight from the ATF's email page. They sent it out to a bunch of people as like a, I guess like a statement or something like that, or a memo statement saying that they had got I can't talk. They had received report that the weapon was found in the path that the assassin took, like escaping. They found it. It was wrapped in I think like a towel or something like that, or a blanket, and it was a Mauser 30-06 bolt action with one round fired. It was still in the chamber. He hadn't like pulled the bolt and let the bullet come out. But when they checked it, the three other bullets that were in line in the magazine were the ones that had engravings on it that had transgender and anti-fascist engravings. So take that what you will, and I'll probably see more about it, if I go on and start looking at it more.
Personally, I'm not a huge fan of Crowder, but
I'm not a fan of him either. If you're talking about a guy that I dislike more, it's probably Crowder.
I feel like he does kind of incite a little bit of hatred, just because he's so snide and insulting, rather than, if you don't believe what he believes, he tends to insult too, and I'm not
Right.
I'm not really down with that.
No.
I don't watch him.
And guess what? He's a conservative, right? He's a conservative person. So we can have a discourse and be like, hey, we don't like this certain conservative person, and that's okay.
King of Camo, this is...
I'm not going to go and do anything to Steven Crowder because I don't like him, okay? But at the same time, Charlie was nowhere near how Crowder is, because when it comes to what Charlie was trying to do, he was literally trying to be cordial with people. Crowder can be kind of like, condescending a little bit. It can be kind of like, or whatever like that. So that's just my whole viewpoint when it comes to Crowder. But guess what? I can disagree with Crowder. I cannot really like Crowder, but guess what? I don't want him dead. I don't want anyone to die because of how they believe or what they say. So, Ryan, yes, I am a veteran, U.S. Army National Guard for the state of Georgia. Nasty girl. Really fun. That's the thing. Yeah, Charlie wasn't trying to insult people. He was literally trying to have discord with people. And yeah, it could get heated, but he was literally trying to talk with people to get them to understand where his viewpoint was. And you know what he would really do? He would put the microphone down and he would let you say or speak, and he would listen to what you're saying. That's the difference between a lot of people that I see on the left, where you try to talk to them and you can't talk to them, because the minute you start to make a cohesive point, they scream at you, they yell at you because you're a bigot, fascist, racist, Nazi, and you're terrible. And you're a straight white man or a straight white cis male, you're a Christian or whatever it is. So your opinion doesn't matter. That's bullshit. You should be able to express yourself and be able to listen to other people respectfully. That's what Charlie wanted. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think people are just so used to getting their way.
It's childish behavior
in today's day and age, that, if they don't get their way, they're literally willing to murder somebody over it.
It's childish. They're being so childish and immature. They can't, comprehend their feelings.
Yeah, it was a pointless murder.
GW, I guess you just got here. You just appeared on the internet for the first time. We literally said that this happens on the left and the right. It's the far extreme groups that are speaking louder than the entire majority. But one side tends to be the side that has more of the violence committed on it.
Yep.
Guess what side that is?
That's right, Alicia. Great point. No cities are burning because of Charlie's death, right? But we've seen time and time again riots incited, buildings burned, businesses broken into, over something that happened to the left.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and right there, what is JB Onez or whatever, J Bones? They're all about freedom, freedom of speech until it hurts their feelings, and then it's the party of fuck your feelings. It's crazy. Thank you, James.
We actually have a Mauser on the way to the shop.
Oh, we did.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. I think a Mauser is a cool gun. And guess what? It's not the gun's fault. Oh, and guys, yeah, that's it brings up kind of a interesting little point. We were talking about kind of like the trans community has been a lot of what has happened here recently with a lot of the shootings. It's been because of members of the trans community. I get it. Not everybody in that community is like that. It's far extreme, but a majority seem to be because that's the empirical evidence that we seem to be getting. And one of the comments was right. They need help. So we should be wanting to help them. Instead of being like some people on the right would be where they're like just tossing them away, you should always want to be able to help people, especially help your fellow American. That's that compassionate thing I was talking about when it comes to Charlie that y'all just seem to hate with a fiery passion about compassion and empathy. You should want to have compassion for people. I personally, just me, this is my personal opinion, the trans community has a mental health problem because of all the stuff they go through, I call it kind of mutilation of their body, trying to switch because they don't feel comfortable, and why they don't feel comfortable and like what's going on in their head. They need help. I don't think that we should like belittle or like exterminate them or shoot them because of how they are, because that's how you get what happened with Charlie. You should be able to want to help people, okay? That's the whole point of this situation where we're talking about. Charlie wanted to talk to help people to get his viewpoints across. Help people that have a mental health problem, because that's how you solve the issue. That's what I feel like will solve the issue. I don't know who Private Caller is.
I'm sure it's somebody.
If this is one of y'all wanting to tell a joke, make sure it's good.
Just reading some of the comments here, you guys say that Charlie was hateful, man. Some of you liberals here in the chat are way more hateful. It's almost sad to read some of this. You're lost. Yeah, Charlie was a good man. Yeah, we're all heartbroken. I mean, it's super sad. You know how I know you are a liberal, J Bones? Because you're name calling because you can't get your point across and you can't convince me of what you want me to believe. Mm. Yeah, crybabies didn't want their feelings hurt by somebody speaking the truth.
Oh, my feelings hurt. No one cares about your feelings.
Jay, that's right. That's something we've been saying here. I mean, politics is one thing and having an opinion is one thing, but to murder someone over their opinion, it's just not right, no matter how you look at
It's
it.
literally an opinion, guys. Words may hurt your feelings, but words won't kill you. Yeah, you can express your feelings all day long, but guess what? No one can care about it. You don't have to care about my feelings, and that's okay. That's your right. That's the whole point.
Are your tits out in your profile picture?
That's the whole point. Oh my God.
I think your tits are out.
You know, I feel like a lot of y'all, if y'all would have paid attention in school and like, you know, maybe had like more than 3 brain cells to like, you know, rub together like this, you'd probably understand a little bit more about what we're talking about here. No one cares about your feelings. Y'all don't have to care about my feelings, but I'm giving you my opinion and my viewpoint. That's what Charlie was trying to do. That's what we're trying to get at. Lord. Jose, thank you, brother. We appreciate that. GW.
Yeah, with Dav, what's your OF? That's funny. Yeah, get on here and talk serious with your tits out. We'll it's real convincing. You know, towns. I don't know that it's going to cause World War III, but it's definitely got a lot of people feeling like the line in the sand has been crossed, and you know, I just it's such a sad day. Yeah, Deborah, that's that's a great comment and a good point.
Hey, y'all know what we need? We need more of that. What just happened? Had one of our guys that was watching the live stream. He called us, said he wanted to do a prayer with me just real fast over the country and just the state of things and what happened yesterday and today being 9/11. That is what we need. That man that just called me, you're what's right with the country, and I love it. God bless you.
Yeah, I mean, that's awesome. Ken Nerd says it saddens me to see people mock someone who has died. Remove the political side, and you have a father and a husband. He was respectful to everyone, and yeah, I agree with that. You know, nobody should lose their life over a political view. Nobody, and you know, like Ryan was saying earlier, you know, we didn't agree with Joe Biden. We didn't like his policies.
I didn't like his policies. I didn't like Obama.
We
I
didn't
like his
what
policies.
he was doing. We didn't like his actions. We didn't like the words that came out of his mouth. But you didn't see anybody try to shoot him. You didn't see anybody try to shoot him.
Because a lot of conservatives, a majority of conservatives, know how to regulate their emotions.
Yeah.
I'm not saying a lot of Democrats and liberals don't know how to do that, but I'm just saying there's a disparity. There's a disparity. And it seems like one side is more mature than the other side. And I know you might not like to hear that, but that's kind of what the honest truth is. That's what you're seeing. Because, I mean, if you just look at the evidence, that's what you can see. We need to be more mature as a society, more mature in our emotions. That way we can have civil dialogue. That's what needs to happen.
It's weird that people become obsessive with people or things that they claim to not like to the point that they'd want to harm someone.
That's so very true. They make their whole identity around hating a certain person or group. That's ridiculous. If you're basing your entire existence off of hating something or being a victim or hating a certain person for what they're saying,
you need to have a lot of self-reflection. You need to maybe talk with God a little bit, or whoever you pray to, and maybe have a little bit of self-reflection on why I'm filled with so much hate, and maybe try and find a way to deal with that in a mature way. Oh, thank you, brother. We appreciate that. Whoever was above, who just donated, said a really nice thing. That was nice. Alexander, compassion. Have compassion for a man that just got murdered. Have compassion for that person. That's what Charlie would want you to have. Empathy, I get it. You can not like what he said about it. You can agree or disagree with it. How about just have compassion for a man that lost his life, a wife who lost her husband, and kids who lost their daddy? Because that's what we need. We need more compassion for people. We need more understanding, more dialogue with people. That's what we're trying to do. That's why we got on this live, right? We got on this live because that's what Charlie would want us to try and do. Speak and try and use our right, use the free speech that we have to talk with people, to have discourse, to have civil discourse. That's why we're not gonna get on here and just speak from a soapbox and we're gonna just turn off the chat. No, that's not what Charlie would have wanted. We're talking with people. We're trying to explain our viewpoint and our reasoning why, you know, we think the way that we do and why we need to try and come together as a country, have some compassion for people, have some compassion for someone who just got shot. That's what we're trying to foster here, especially with me and Nate. We don't usually do this. We don't usually have our lives like this. This is not what we usually do.
No, we're usually joking around and having a good time, and we don't talk about political stuff. We make it a point not to, because it is so divisive, and that's not what we're trying to do here. Here at the shop, we try to promote firearm safety. We try to promote having a good time with firearms. We're a custom shop, so we love customizing people's guns and making them unique for them, and bringing their ideas to life. And we're a service shop. We gunsmith. We do repairs and restorations. This is not what we normally do. But
I mean, it was kind of on my heart to talk about it. So
yeah, we wanted to do this last night, but I felt like it might be too early.
Yeah.
We just didn't have enough information, and now that Charlie's gone, I wanted to just kind of voice my opinion about how sad it is that this happened, and you know how I've almost like lost faith in part of the country, because um, it seems like we are now so far divided that you either are on this side or on this side. And it's
When we
funny
should be
today,
just one.
and today, especially on 9/11, I remember I was sitting at North Georgia College in the student center when the second plane hit,
Mhm.
and there were probably 80 students gathered around a small television watching that happen. And we had just gotten out of our first class, and getting ready to go to our second class that day. And we're walking through the student center, and there was a group of people around the television, and I walked over to see what was happening, and we all watched the second plane hit together. And it was for almost 2 years after 9/11, people were rocking American flags on their cars,
We were united.
everywhere you looked, and we all kind of came together, and we were attacked as a nation. And people of all creeds, colors, religions, they all died that day. And we all came together in recognition that that was wrong. And I unfortunately, um, Charlie, kind of some not similar in scale, but was murdered by someone who didn't have the same beliefs as him. right? And that's what these terrorists did. They didn't have the same beliefs as us, and so they
they
crashed
wanted
two
to kill us.
planes into the World Trade Center. Um,
And that's the thing that you see with a lot of these other places where these schools get shot up. And we want to talk about also yesterday there was a school that was attacked in Colorado. That it's the same principle, guys. The scale is different. Principle is the same. When evil does what it does to people, you should be able to come together as one solidified group of people and be able to call out evil. That's the biggest thing. When the planes hit the trade centers today, 24 years ago. No, yeah, 24 years ago. Like we came together as a solidified group of people. When something like a school shooting happens, we should be able to come together with a solidified group of people and call out the evil that happened and solve it. Same thing what happened with Charlie yesterday. It was evil. You're not supposed to murder people. We should be in agreement that murder is bad. Shooting up schools is bad. That should be something that you would feel everyone could agree on.
You know, Alexander says we need a goddamn alien invasion, and that will bring us all together. And it's funny how Reagan said that many, many years ago, that it would take an outside force for us to all come together. You know, and that may unfortunately be true.
Yeah.
You know, even
To unite us against something else.
These many years later, that might still ring true. That it would require an alien invasion for us to actually come together. And how crazy of a thought is that we would need to wait for that to happen for us to actually come together.
You know what though? I feel like there'd be people like, oh well, the aliens have feelings too, and we should probably hear their side of the story. After they blow up the White House like an Independence Day or something.
Yeah. No, I don't, Kemlo, I don't think you're supposed to take away that any individual of any group performing a crime indicates that the entire group is evil. No, we know that is not true.
You have to look at evidence.
But there is a
trends.
Common denominator here.
And a common denominator. You look at that. Be an analytical thinker. Be a logical thinker. Look at these things. Find the patterns. And then that way you can try and solve a problem. You can't solve a problem if you don't have complete evidence. You don't have the complete data. If there's a common denominator of a certain ideology of people doing a certain act that we should all agree is an evil act, maybe that's where we should try and focus to try and solve a problem.
White men do the most mass shootings?
Typically, it's not so much the white men, it's the ideology behind this white person. I don't really care about the whole race when it comes to it, because race, it doesn't matter if you're white, black, brown, red, purple, indigo, it doesn't matter the race. It's where that person comes from, why they did it, not what they look like, why they did it, and what's in their head, what made them do this. That's the whole point. You got to take everything into consideration, but you shouldn't just single out based off of race. And I'm not trying to single out just based off of trans, because like I said earlier, there's probably a lot of trans people that are like, what the hell is going on? Why are these people that I associate with that are in my same demographic, why are they doing this? Not all trans people are bad. Not all Democrats are bad. Not all Republicans are bad. If you think like that, where it's just a black and white situation, you're wrong, because there's gray everywhere, and there's people that are on both sides of the aisle when it comes to certain things like that, or people from all walks of life that don't want to see people get hurt, don't want to see people get killed, don't want to see schools get shot up. There's tons of those people.
Yeah, Austin, you're right. Like, why point at color? We all bleed the same. That's right. We're all humans. We don't need to blame the color of the skin to make a point. I mean, it doesn't prove a point. It doesn't. No. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Real talk. I remember a time my government was telling me, y'all are...
How you doing, brother?
Let's see.
So sad.
That's exactly right. The human race is all that matters, man. It doesn't matter. And to me, more so,
The American race. That's what matters. That's what matters to people. Let's see. And, yeah, that's true. Real talk. Let's see. Yeah, it was a 30-06 they found. Yep, that's what it was. Let's see. Let's see.
We actually have a Mauser here in the shop that we can show you.
We can't touch it though because we're on live. Yeah. We still have to follow YouTube's guidelines.
So, you know, if anybody wants to know what the gun looked like, this is it right here, a bolt action.
There you go.
Sorry, my mic wasn't on. Yeah, so if anybody wants to see what the gun looked like, this is it right here. Bolt action Mauser.
This is the one where you feed the rounds in from the top. And like I saw in that report the ATF sent out, you know, the bullet that was fired out of the gun, it was still the brass was still in there. So they opened it up, pulled it out, and then that's where they saw the all that transcribing, the trans engraving and the anti-fascist engravings and stuff like that.
Yeah, bolt action 30-06. And I'll go around on the other side to show you the sights. So there's your rear sight, and there's your front sight. You know, so it's very likely that iron sights were used in this. But yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like a person problem. Yeah, it's a person problem. It's a people problem. It's not the object's fault. It's the person behind the object. I don't see how that's a hard concept to grasp.
It's a hard concept for people with no accountability.
That's true. That's very right.
You know, it's surprising to me that somebody would use that rifle and not something more modern, but sure.
Let's see.
All right, if you're going to spam the chat, you're going to get kicked.
I'm just going back through trying to see. Oh yeah, and to go along with that, you know, people blaming the gun and not the person. You know, we just went and we actually just posted a video about our range day. We went to the Goals range day, and it's crazy. There was like 300 to 500 people there. Everyone had guns, full autos, Barrett 50 cals, all these dangerous weapons and stuff like that. And I don't think anyone got shot. So I don't think it's the guns that are doing it, you know.
No, the guns don't have arms and legs and get up and go shoot somebody by themselves. I'm sorry.
So
it takes somebody to pick up that gun and do something bad with it, you know.
It's almost like the action of a person needs to be held accountable. And again, you know, I'm still in full support of the death penalty.
Oblast says we need to unite. And I say, yeah, that's easier said than done at this point. You know, there's a line that's been crossed in the sand. And how do you come back from this? I mean,
guns are not dangerous. They're dangerous in the hands of people that don't have firearm safety as ingrained in their body. Guns are not dangerous. They're tools. And Mr. Towns Manu, or whatever you say your name, blame the person and not the gun, question mark. Do you believe so regarding Alec Baldwin? It was Alec Baldwin's fault. Every responsible gun owner knows that if you pick up a gun, no matter if you've been shooting blanks with it all day, if it's been empty all day, it doesn't matter. If you pick up a firearm or someone hands it to you, I trust Nate with my life. If he hands me a gun, guess what I'm doing? I'm checking the damn gun. It doesn't mean that I don't trust him. I am exercising firearm safety and accountability for myself. So it doesn't matter. Because if I did something, if I'm like, oh, well, Nate handed it to me, Nate told me there's a blank in there, I believe there's a blank in there, and I go shoot point blank at somebody, and that person dies because there was something in it, that's on me. That is my fault. I don't see how that's a hard thing to
Papa's
explain
Pew
either.
Pew says, Nate, read up to my comment. I'm looking, Papa's Pew Pews. Hang tight. There's literally so many comments coming in. Nate, being I'm in Georgia, if you have the Teal CZ, can I call with my credit card and either ship to South Georgia or come pick it up later? Teal CZ. The Shadow 2 back here? Is that what you were looking at? Yeah, man, 100%. Just give us a call after we're on this live, and we can go through that.
Nick Williams calling out somebody saying they couldn't stop crying because Charlie passed away, and kind of making fun of him for that. That's called being a compassionate human being. It's kind of sad that Charlie's family was literally at the event, and his kid tried to run over to him after he was shot, and they jumped on top of him to take him away. The fact that his daughter was there, that's kind of sad, okay? And if you can't have empathy for that, okay, that's the issue. You're making fun of them for their parasocial relationship with Charlie Kirk. Well, that's not gonna lie to you, that's a shitty thing to do, and I think you're a shitty human being. I'm sorry. I'm resulting to calling you by a name, but at the same time, that's called being a compassionate person that cares for somebody, and you can care for people that you don't know. Okay, you can care that someone got murdered. That's not a good thing that someone got murdered. You can care about that.
Yeah, I mean, what if it was your mother or your brother or your significant other?
Like that. Like, how about
we would have the same empathy for that.
We would have that. That's the decent human thing to do. Just saying,
No, I mean, we're just talking about a subject. If you don't like it, Nick, you can absolutely leave. We don't need you in here.
Hey, guess what? That's called free speech.
You're not really adding to the conversation anyway. Let me make it easier for you. I'll just hide you from the channel.
And guess what? That's free speech. I'm sorry, y'all. I mean, I don't feel like y'all understand the concept behind it. Free speech is free speech. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, the gun can't pull its own trigger. Yeah, we'll take a couple more comments and then we'll probably get off of here. I think we've kind of.
I'll just say this too. A lot of you guys probably need to do just a little bit of self-reflection. There's a lot of lack of sympathy, compassion, empathy, just general care for another person. And I feel like that's probably because a lot of people are desensitized and jaded in today's day and age with all the social media that we consume. You might need to go outside and touch grass and just get back to looking in the mirror and self-evaluating yourself, because I mean, if you can't say that you don't care about somebody else being murdered, I'm sorry, you need to try and get some healing done with yourself. Maybe you need to talk with somebody, talk with a counselor, maybe go to church, and try and see if you can find a little bit of something that can fulfill your life. Because I got to tell you, if you go along the way you're going, it's not going to end well, because you're going to be filled with that hate, like we kept talking about this whole entire time. Don't be filled with hate. You need to try and fill your heart with a little bit of compassion, empathy, sympathy for people. That's what needs to happen.
I think New York Gunner just said it perfectly. The lack of empathy he's seen around this issue has caused him to have a concern for humanity, and I couldn't agree with that more. To have scrolled through hours after Charlie died, scroll through social media and see people celebrating his death and laughing and cheering that he was dead over an assassination, it kind of sickened me. It sickened me, and it led me to believe, like, okay, I mean, I've always known that there's evil out there, but that's a different kind of evil. That's a disgusting fucking human being celebrating somebody's death in that way over a political opinion. You guys, those of you who are in that camp, I don't know. I kind of wish upon you the same hurt and despair that his family is feeling right now.
Because I feel
1,000 times over.
Because you guys are disassociated. You're disassociating yourself. That's why you feel like you can say a lot of the things that you say. I hope I hope it doesn't ever happen to you where you have to go through something like this, or if it's someone that you care about or someone that you like or someone that is a family member. I hope you don't have to go through it. But at the same time, I mean, if you do have to go through it, if you're going to speak the way you're speaking right now, I mean, karma's a bitch. I'm sorry. Talking a different tune down the road. Like I said, I hope it doesn't happen to you, but we're just trying to, do what Charlie wanted us to do. Talk about it. That's all he wanted. He wanted people to talk and have discourse, and that's why we came on to do this and talk about it today, because we felt compelled that we needed to talk about it. And I just want to give my condolences and my prayers to Charlie's family and everyone that was there at the event too, and everyone that got hurt in the school shooting that happened yesterday too, and remember everyone about today and what it's for, with 9/11 being today. It's there's a lot that's happening in the world, and I feel like people need to be just more loving towards one another. So
Yeah,
I'll leave y'all with that.
Yeah, that being said, appreciate all of you, even those of you who we disagree with, coming on the channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and hopefully we'll see you on a better day. Goodbye.